the best up here or where? Does it
As
pick up
close
well?
as possible.
Okay.
And welcome to another edition of Race Talk's Live Shop Talk. Bill Grid here with Bobby Potts. And our guest tonight, we figured we needed to give him equal time because he got beat up pretty bad 2 weeks ago by Tommy Foes. Yeah, he was beat up.
Yeah,
I'm used to that.
Give him a chance to get back a little bit. Did you have a chance to listen to what Tommy had to say about you?
I did listen to it, and you know, that's how Tommy is. He likes to talk a good game, so he doesn't always follow through. We'll see.
So game on.
That's right, game on.
Before we get started, I told the guys I would kind of put in a little plug for them. Did something interesting Saturday night. Went over to Emma Speedway in. It's about 60 miles east of Kansas City, Missouri. And it's a little go-kart track that the guys have built over there. And talked to Terry Lyle, I think is their last name.
You sure?
Him and his dad have built this place. It's been going like 5 years now. And they've taken an old, like a sale barn or rodeo arena type deal, and it turned it into a go-kart track, and it's a perfect place. I mean, it's got concession stands behind the glass at one end of the track, so you can sit in the concession stand and eat and still watch the races, and and then the carts are all around the outside of the track, and just a perfect layout for a little go-kart track. And so I told him I'd kind of give him a shout and tell everybody about it. So if you're in the neighborhood on a Saturday night and you want something to do in that part of the country, go to the go-kart races. It's a really neat place. Like I said, they've been started out averaging like 40 carts, and they've grown like week by week pretty much, and they're up in the 80s, averaging 80 carts. Some of the people that have been going over there are the Zorns. Mark Zorn, his kids have been racing along with Mark's been racing over there, and Jeremy Zorn, his boy, was over there this Saturday night, and of course Corey Legrune bought his son
I saw that.
Cale,
it's a nice looking cart.
bought him a cart, and so this was their second trip over there. Dustin Forsberg was over there with a cart this last weekend, and just a pretty neat little place. Kinsey Zorn, Mark's daughter, she ended up winning the feature in the junior class.
Oh, wow.
Or rookie class, I'm sorry.
What age groups do they run?
I can't really, I know they start out like at 4 and 5 years old.
Oh, wow.
Because Cale is 5.
Right.
And I think Kinsey Zorn is around that same age. But there's some little kids, I mean, they can't be much, around 4 years old. But Kinsey ended up winning her feature in the rookie class, and followed by Kaiser Zorn, which is Jeremy's boy, and then Cale ended up 4th, I believe, in the feature there, and Dustin Forsberg and his poor guy. I never thought that the setup on a go-kart would be that important, but that thing pushed like a Mack truck.
What do you change, tires?
What do you do?
I don't know.
They don't run shocks or anything.
Well, they have no shocks, no suspension.
Yeah.
But they do have adjustments on their
like caster
spindles
camber
and caster and camber and setting. I mean, some of the guys get pretty sophisticated. They got little scale pads set up that they come in and they scale their cart
every time.
After each time, and so there's a lot more to it than you think is just go-kart racing.
And this is or like concrete or dirt or
no, it's a dirt.
It's dirt.
It's dirt track. Yep.
Sounds like you got to get you one.
They look like they're a lot of fun.
He was talking to you, yeah.
No, I did that one time, and them things will nickel and dime me to death.
So will the big ones.
Yeah, that's why I don't do that either. But no, it's a really cool place, like I say, and like I say, if you're ever in the area, I think they're.
Where is it again?
It's in Emma, Missouri.
Huh.
Yep. It's if you guys know where the I-70 Speedway is, it's about 20 miles east of there, and so it's a pretty cool place. like I say, they got about another month of racing, and then they're going to move to they also have an outdoor track they're going to move to.
So they go year round?
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, these guys, they're pretty much into the go-kart stuff.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yep.
If we had something like that, you could start.
Yeah. Again.
I wish it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, I don't know if it was a lot closer. I might, but no, these, in the outlaw class, these are like 6 horsepower motors that they all run, 4-stroke motors. And in the outlaw class, a lot of the guys are running them on alcohol, and they're bumping. It's a stock appearing motor, but you can do any kinds of work
internally.
inside. And they're getting up around 15, 16, 17 horsepower out of a 6 horsepower engine. So they get right around, get with it.
Yeah.
So just thought I'd throw that out, and like I say, if anybody's around, pretty neat time, pretty good time for a Saturday night anyway.
Yeah, well, how long did it take you to get over there?
It took a while.
And how long did it take you to get back?
A little longer.
Yeah.
No, it's a little trip over there, but like I say, it's fun.
Sure.
They had I don't know if it was last weekend, the weekend before, they had in 2 of the classes, they had 1,000 to win race.
In a go-kart.
Yeah. Ryan Gustin won.
No, really?
Yeah, he was there with the go-kart and ended up winning. So
really,
the guy can drive anything,
yeah,
can he?
he's not anything. So Tony, you got any words of wisdom for Tommy?
Any
look
words
out!
of wisdom?
Yeah, look out this year. I'm going to put a bumper to you, kind of like what he said.
Yeah, I definitely am going to be putting my fenders on his fenders this year. So
well, the way it sounds, you're so old that you won't even remember what car number he is by then.
Well, see, he's so young. His issue is he's so young that he drives a little hot-headed at times.
Out of control.
Yeah, you've seen that.
Okay.
I think
you may have even repaired some stuff that he had a hand in.
I think he calls it running out of talent. Is that what he said?
And you know, the guy he's incredibly smart when it comes to setting up the cars. And we took a trip this last summer to Nebraska and Iowa, and I learned some stuff just from him. And he gets in that car, and sometimes that helmet is way too small for his head.
Squeezes all the common sense out.
It does, and I'm not sure where it goes, because he does great for a few laps, and then. It goes away, but he's a great driver, and he's great at setting up the cars too.
And you guys really are friends.
Yeah.
I mean, let's get that on the record. The trash talking is just going to be trash talking tonight,
and it's always going to be there.
Yeah.
I brought up a couple things to him, and a year ago at the banquet, I just happened to be standing with you two while you guys were going back and forth, and you proceeded to tell him that every time he was on the racetrack with you, you would beat him. Did that happen?
No, it didn't, unfortunately. The tracks were too heavy this year for me. I like the dry track, and he likes the heavy track.
That's what he said.
And I have done this for a few years, and I haven't figured out how to drive on the heavy track yet. So it takes, I don't know if it takes more talent or less talent, and maybe I just have too much.
Oh, no.
And then we also brought up the night that he let you win a feature.
Yeah.
You know what night I'm talking about.
He has not let that go. I was over there 2 nights ago, and he's talking about it. I'm like, geez.
Give it up.
Yeah, give it up. They gave me the win. I took it from him. So
how'd you do it?
What?
How'd you do it? Tell everybody how you did it. Not everybody knows.
How did I do it?
How'd you win it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
How did you take the win away from him?
How did I take the win away from him?
Yeah. Where did he finish?
He ended up
forced him down under the tires.
Yeah.
I did. I forced him I forced him to run the infield, which is actually the shorter route around the track.
Yeah, but I don't think you're supposed to race through the infield, are you?
No. And so then the next week, because I believe the modifieds that night ran even lower than we did.
Yeah.
And so the next week we had those the big tires, and
those things tear stuff up.
I tore up some stuff on the big tire this year, so
the
just
big
being
tires,
stupid.
The big tires tear stuff up.
They do. So.
Especially if you get down
there again, you you got to have something there to keep the guys out of the infield because they'll just keep going lower.
Yeah,
and lower
well,
and
yeah,
lower.
you're gonna look for the best place to run, and if the infield's the best place to run,
Yeah.
that's where you're
Yeah.
going. So
You know, we had Tommy had buried the just the car tires. You know, at first trying to do that, but
they popped up.
they weren't
We have some
stiff
come out of
enough.
the ground.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that but they weren't. You know, they weren't hard enough to keep you from driving over the top of them.
Right.
And you could still do it and not upset things, and that wasn't working. So
Well, you can't drive over those big tires.
No,
No.
you can't drive through them either. I'm telling you, I bounced off one and my front end moved, not the tire. So.
Hey, listen, let's back up for a minute. Are you a NASCAR fan at all?
I am.
What'd you think of the Daytona 500? Let's cover that real quick.
Yeah, let's do.
You know, I thought it was probably one of the better Daytonas that I've seen in a number of years. Just the 3 wide, 4 wide racing just all day long.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a great race.
Bobby, has NASCAR done anything with this car? Have they taken away some rear spoiler? What have they done to upset it a little bit? It's not as
Nothing.
It's a little loose, but it's
Nothing until this year.
nothing
Or, I
until
mean, this
after
week.
this race.
Yeah.
Right. They wanted to wait until Daytona, and then they take some spoiler away from
Yeah,
it, right?
and
it's going to even be
horsepower.
looser than what it is.
And horsepower.
Really?
They're
For the-
taking
for-
like 125 horsepower away from
And where do
them,
we go
too.
next week? Talladega?
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see
And what did you think of the group qualifying for Daytona?
what a mess.
Wasn't that was a
I think
boneyard
that-
collection there, wasn't it?
I
That's
think
not a
that
good idea.
I think that kind of backfired on them. Did you watch that, Tony?
I didn't I caught the last run and that was it.
The best comment that I had heard out of the whole deal was from Michael Waltrip when he was up in the booth. He said they were sitting in their car and they hear over their radio that qualifying starts now or tells them to go, and they all backed out of their spots and then stopped. You know, and then just sit there and waited for the clock to run down. And yeah, it was pretty.
I don't think group
pretty
qualifying is
crazy.
going to make it.
Guys
Not
are-
at Daytona.
Not at Daytona. I mean,
There's too much of a chance of something bad. Well,
yeah.
Is that what they're going to do? They're doing that at all tracks
Uh-huh.
now?
Same as
Okay.
they did last year, and I
I don't mind it at a small track.
I enjoyed watching qualifying. You know, at the other tracks, but
Not at Daytona.
no, it didn't work there. You know, the guys were, you know, when they back out of their spots and then they drive up to the line and they were trying to pick their friends to follow, you know, and they were going through the grass and they were running into each other on pit road before they even got on the track, you know, and no, that wasn't.
That created a bone pile of cars.
Yes, it did.
You know.
Yep.
And what about the Danica thing? Her and Denny getting touched together. What is that?
Yeah, I mean, I can see both sides of the story there. I mean, Danica is out there running, you know, thinking her car is fast, you know, and then Denny's up behind her
Knowing her car's not fast.
and trying to push her,
Yeah.
you know, and I guess she just didn't like to be a little sideways. I mean, that which she got a lot sideways, but yeah, pushing on other people too.
I don't
you know.
think she's mastered the. I don't think she's. And she's got to be good to be where she's at.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, you got to
Yeah.
give her credit for that.
Yeah.
But I don't think she's mastered that push thing that they've got going with
Yeah.
the big stock
The
cars
drafting and
The
Yeah.
drafting?
yeah,
and the bumping and the.
yeah.
You know, especially at the big tracks like
Yeah.
Daytona. I mean, you know, she can do well there, but you know. Yeah.
I get-
I'm telling you, if that would have been anybody else in Denny Hamlin's face at the end of that,
Yeah.
it'd have been a
Yeah,
different
that's-
outcome. You
yeah.
know, 'cause that was a woman beating on him. You know,
Yeah.
and he's standing
It
there
was-
trying to explain it to her.
It was too. I mean, they're good friends.
Yeah.
I guess, and you know, to have two friends arguing like that, it was kind of interesting
Right.
Mhm.
to see the. But I guess everything turned out okay. I mean,
Yeah,
she made the race.
She made the race. And,
Everybody ran good.
yeah, it was a good race.
What
I
do you
watched the
guys
whole
think
thing. I
about-
didn't even sleep through it.
really?
Yeah.
What do you guys think about NASCAR's decision with Kurt Busch?
To me, that's a tough one because I know the NFL had to do something
I
with
was
the
gonna say,
guys they were doing.
Exactly.
It follows suit with what other sports are doing.
I mean,
and I think
NFL
that's what they've got to do to keep any legitimacy too.
NFL caught
Yeah.
so much crap
Yeah.
about.
And I
And
think
you've got to be proactive.
And I
nowadays.
think from what Larry McReynolds said, I listened to his documentary. I watched his documentary on it. The wording in the the court deal was more that he did do it than he didn't do it.
Right.
So they felt like they had to act on it.
Yeah.
You got to face it. We've got lots of young drivers and young kids that look up to these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But who of us hasn't made a mistake? I know
Right.
I've made more than my fair share of mistakes, but I don't think I've ever done anything quite like that.
I'm not a real big Kurt Busch fan, but in my opinion, I don't think NASCAR should have, I guess, done what they did until he was, found guilty of charges.
I would agree that if he was found guilty, then they should.
Yeah.
I think this is a little early.
Because now going into the court deal, the people are going to be sitting in there saying, "Oh,
they've
everybody
already
else
found
is
him guilty,
saying
you
you
know?
did it."
But that's no
and so-
different than what other sports have done. They bench the players or they put them on suspension until, after the hearing or after trial or whatever. So I
But
think
let's put this. Maybe this is not right, but let's put this into bigger perspective. What did NASCAR do at Tony Stewart last year?
he took himself out.
For 2 weeks.
Right.
But NASCAR never penalized.
No.
Yeah.
I think a different situation, though.
Are you sure?
Well, absolutely. I think it's a different situation because I don't know. You're talking about
Kurt Busch hasn't been found guilty yet.
No.
Is the thing. I think if he's found guilty, then yeah, do this.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I think I still believe in this country you are innocent until proven guilty.
All right.
I wish
Yeah.
they would have waited,
Yeah.
but they're following suit with all the other sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, remember, there's lots of kids that look up to these
Yeah.
guys that want to be a race driver. And, unfortunately, I'm not a Kurt Busch fan either. He hasn't actually handled the media correctly. He has been a hothead. It does look bad.
And then you also got to think, what if it would have been a guy like Josh Wise, a guy like David Reagan, a guy that's not so well known?
I don't know. I still think
Would
that
it have been?
I think it would have,
big?
and I think that they've dealt with issues like that with lower name drivers as far as substance abuse and drugs. And
We could all go back to Jeremy Wayfield. He will not have a NASCAR
No.
license,
yeah,
But then A.J. Allmendinger, he made it through, and
yeah.
he
But he
cleaned himself up.
He
And,
cleaned himself up. He
Yep.
was given the opportunity.
Yep.
I think it's terrible for Kurt Busch. This is his livelihood. This is how he makes money. Hopefully,
Yep.
I'd be interested to see how the outcome finally does when it's all said and done, and then if he's found guilty or not.
Mhm.
Because there isn't any of us that haven't made some sort of a mistake at some point in time. But
Right.
there's none of us that are in the public eye like those guys are.
Right.
And
Right.
again, and I believe that that's why the NFL should do what it does, because there's lots of kids that look up to these
Right.
people, and
Yeah.
if they think that it's okay to do that, it sends the wrong signal.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
do wish they would have waited until he was found guilty. That's my only thing. They've done what they've done, so now you're gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And then he lost the appeal, so I don't know what happens now. He's
Yeah,
got to
I
wait
don't
till
know.
after the trial to see what happens.
Yep.
It's sad to have our sport have that in it too, but it's everywhere else.
And I haven't heard that car was sponsored by Gene Haas. I haven't heard. Are they going to keep it going? Are they going to park it, or have you guys heard?
I think last I knew they were still
Still gonna race it.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had a plan. The last I read, they had a plan in place for the whole season.
I see.
If Kurt was not eligible to drive, they suspected something early on, even before Daytona. They thought something may happen.
Okay. I hadn't heard
So-
about the 41 car. I did hear. I was watching Race Hub right before I come here and seen where David Reagan's going to be in the 18 car.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
let's
he's-
talk about that.
so he's leading.
Daytona didn't have a safer barrier in that one spot.
Yeah.
Again, but here's the deal. We're gonna talk about the Xfinity race Saturday, and get your thoughts on this. What do you think of the nationwide driver? The Sprint Cup drivers racing in the Xfinity series. Look at Kyle Busch hit the wall. Again, the car comes across the grass.
Yeah.
Picks up speed. You can't
Yeah.
stop it.
Yeah.
You can't stop it. There's
Right.
nothing you can do to stop it.
Yep.
And he hit the wall a ton.
Yeah, I've just seen highlights of it. I didn't get to watch the race yet. But,
I watched the race. Sorry.
yeah.
But this is all. I think I know where you're going with the argument. Is should the nationwide or the Sprint Cup drivers be in that series?
Yeah.
Yeah. They draw people to the stands.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if it's us three out there racing,
Nobody
who's
cares.
coming to watch
Yeah, nobody
that?
cares.
Yeah, but you throw a Tony Stewart or a Kyle Busch or somebody like that in there, and then now you've got 100,000 or 200,000 people, whatever it is.
Yep.
But if it's
And the way it is, they're not taking anything away from the
No.
the regulars because
of the
they're
points.
not
Points,
racing
yeah.
for
They're not
points.
racing for points.
which they
That's
I
right.
mean, and I think NASCAR
But
did
do
a
you
great job.
do you think a sponsor is going to come to somebody and say, hey, look, you know, I'm sponsoring you to race in this series. I would appreciate it if you don't race in this series. Can it happen? We're talking NASCAR here. Can it happen?
I think
Should it happen? I guess is the next question.
I would think that the sponsors can probably tell them whatever they want.
But should that happen? Should they have that control?
it's their money.
Let's face it.
You
These
know,
guys
that's
are
the same.
racers. They will race whatever they can, whenever they can, and they really don't
Stewart.
care about the money.
That goes right back to Tony Stewart deal. I mean, being in the sprint car,
Yeah.
should his sponsors tell him that he can't do that? I mean, yeah,
I mean, I can see it happening.
yeah.
But it's part of his draw too.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that
Think
he is
about it.
so-
You put Tony Stewart in a sprint car and you bring him to a race,
Yeah,
you're going to
but-
pack the stands.
Yeah, there'll be people there.
But again, these guys are racers. They're just like us, only they can
Better.
do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, Richard.
Yeah, richer. They can afford to do
They're
whatever.
not better looking now.
That's right. Ain't nobody
don't
better
think
looking at
that's
this
right.
table than me.
That's
Sorry,
right.
boys. That's the way it's working these days. Anyhow.
I gotta pick my feet up.
Nuh-uh. Come to the gym with me, Bobby.
Yeah, you should see him at the
Are
gym.
you kidding? I'd die.
I have.
Get an ambulance. There.
I have. All right.
There.
So you've been racing this the hobby stock for a long time.
Yeah.
Any desire to do anything different?
No, I have fun in this. I mean, maintenance-wise, it's pretty easy to do.
I've heard you build a pretty good car too. You built some for other guys.
Yeah, we have. It's fun. It's a lot of fun to do. The guys that I race with are good guys to run with. You know, if you have a problem or whatever, you can always, for the most part, talk to them and they'll help you get your stuff back together.
And you guys usually don't have a trouble. You guys don't have any problems filling the field with 20-some cars.
There's always a lot of
Yeah.
hobbies.
Yeah, anywhere you
Does that
go.
make it tougher to route through the traffic?
Yes, and that, you know, we were talking about this because I've won some races over the years and a couple track titles and stuff. And the cars that I had in 05 and 06 that we ran at Salina, you know, I think they'd be back of the pack cars now. And the rules haven't changed that much. Just the things that people have figured out, shocks
Sure.
and springs and all of those things. It's changed so much. I think.
How frustrating does it get? You know, you're normally a top 5 points guy. I mean, you end up starting in the back of
Right.
your heat race every night when the track is pretty slick and slimy
Right.
and sloppy and hard to race on. How frustrating is that for you?
It can be very frustrating. I mean, incredibly frustrating. And you know, and those are the times, and I've done it. You go out there and you overdrive, and then you end up tearing something up, and I think that's where my frustration at times comes, is because you push things harder than they need to be pushed.
You know, you have a lot better car than
Yeah, you have a lot better, and you're running behind cars that you would normally finish in front of, and not to take anything away from
Tommy
those guys.
Foes.
Yeah, Tommy Foes. Not to take anything away from those guys, but it is. I mean, I don't know if the mud and the slime is the great equalizer, or if it just flip flops everything.
Yep.
So, and it's, you know, you start behind them too. So,
right.
and it makes it a lot harder to drive. So.
Yep.
I'm hoping for no rain and water trucks that don't run this summer.
So you're going to be out there on Thursday night or Wednesday night taking the keys
With
out of the water
jet
truck.
dryer.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
we'll have out there.
Get the keys away from the water truck.
That's right. So yeah, I'm definitely a fan of a much drier track than what we've had, and not necessarily. I don't like the dust. I just like a drier track.
I like to
So,
see just a little bit of dust coming off the track, just a little, not
Yeah.
enough to get in the crowds, just
Yeah.
just some off the tires, you
Yeah.
know, and that's perfect.
and
I'm ready
you
to
know,
go.
then guys are searching for spots to run too, and so I think it moves the cars around on the track instead of, you know, you get people running, and you know, with the heavy track you get them running everywhere too, but they're not always fast.
Any desire to try any other class?
No, I don't think so.
No?
No, I'm happy. And
Them darn hobby stocks are hard to work on.
Why is that? Because of the bodies? They're steel? Or what?
yeah, they
you
don't
always-
straighten out as easy, do
No,
they?
you're always beating and hammering on them. Yeah.
Yeah. No, like I said, it's a lot of fun, and money wise, and for me, the sport has to be fun for me to do it. And if I'm spending tons of money and yeah, that's not fun for me.
Yeah.
not when you have a family and things like that you need to be responsible for too. So.
Speaking of your family, you got a boy that's getting up there.
He
Put him in a-
saw
put him in a mini
Lagroon's.
stock
He
or
saw
something?
Lagroon's go-kart.
Yeah, what do you think of that?
On Facebook, and he thinks he's got to have.
He was
one.
all over that, wasn't he?
Yeah, so I just for Corey, if he wants to loan the card out a weekend. So
You got the hauler and everything. You can haul it.
yeah,
can't you?
I think we could fit it in there. But yeah, no, he likes to tinker with stuff, and he'll come out in the shop. But he
Better look out.
Yeah,
One of these days, they'll have one of those.
but yeah, no.
They have busted butt on that last week. I don't know if he's going to be too impressed with the pictures getting out just yet.
You know that some of the guys have been out racing already. They've
Yeah.
been down in Texas.
Gimmel
Brennan
won down
Gimmel
there,
pick up
yeah.
the win, and so did Clay Sellard
Clay Sellard, yeah.
down in Wichita Falls, Texas, I believe they were at.
Yeah.
So congratulations to them guys.
Adam Armstrong went down there and ran okay.
You ran second.
You didn't go down there and
No,
race, did you?
no, my stuff's not together yet.
Why not?
Because I have jobs.
You have
I
jobs?
Yeah, I have jobs. I have
Jobs?
to do. So
What do you do full time?
I'm a school teacher at Central,
What do you teach?
American history and economics.
Really? How long have you been
Yes.
doing that?
How long have I been teaching?
Mhm.
16, 17 years, I think.
Really?
Really?
So
And you're a coach too, right?
I was up until 2 years ago, and then I started coaching my son's teams. So
Okay.
so yeah, I'm doing that, and we'll get back into coaching at the high school level a little ways down the road. So
I think your kid's going to be a little bit of an athlete. I watched him play football there on
He might,
at the
yeah.
Y there. He looked pretty good.
he does. He's just finished up basketball, and he likes it. But I asked him the other day. I said, "Are you ready for? Are you disappointed it's over?" He said, "A little bit," and he's like, "But not really." I said, "Why is that?" And he said, "Because football's coming up." So he's
Oh, yeah.
he's ready for football. And this year,
yeah.
this year
How old
gets
is he?
to-
What grade's he in?
He's in third grade. This year
Third,
he'll.
okay.
This next year he'll do Salvation Army
I see.
because they have that at the fourth grade
They
level.
have that at fourth grade
Yep.
level now?
I think they've done it for 2 years now, fourth grade.
Huh.
So, yeah, so I'm excited for that. So we'll probably coach a team there.
How does that affect your racing schedule, or does it?
Everything works around it.
You ever missed a race because of it?
Not because of football or anything. Not with him. But yeah, I think last year was my first year back. Last year was the first year I ran a full season because the year before I'd taken time off for kids and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. So
And you got
I have a daughter. I have a daughter
too?
5 and a boy 8. So
Cool.
yeah, most
You know,
days.
We was getting a kick out at the go-kart races Saturday, watching Mark Zorn's two kids race. They are like totally opposite. Trey, the boy, he's going to own his own car someday and be driving it, because he's a lot more
Hands on.
timid on the starts,
Oh.
and he don't like to rub. He don't like people rubbing on him. But then you got Kenzie, the girl. She's like wide open. She flies in there and bounces off.
She's
people.
not a car owner.
So she's going to drive for somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah, when you're in that car, at least I do. I think every time, I
Yep.
touch somebody or somebody's getting into me, I'm thinking, what's that going to cost?
I know
So,
it. Yep. So that's kind of funny.
Not afraid to get in there and mix it up, though, are you?
No, and I don't know how much longer I'll do it, just because with kids and family and stuff. But I keep saying, I'm not going to be as passive this year, and I'm not going to take any of the crap. So
Look out, foes.
Yeah, yeah. I got 2 cars now, so we're ready to use one up if we have to.
And Kenny Fuller told me you get 2 love taps and then a hate hit. So there you go.
That's right.
Use that chrome horn if you have to.
Yep.
And 2 cars this year, so there you can.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll have one. We'll have one ready to go if one gets wadded up. Not that that's going to happen, or that I'm going to go out and try to take anybody out, but definitely going to. I want to win some more races this year than we did last, and so probably a little more aggressive this year than I have in the past.
How did you end up? How many features did you have?
2.
2?
2.
Where'd you end up in points?
Second.
Second.
So it was a decent year. Hope for better.
Mike's tough.
Mike
had a
was
really good year. He was tough.
He's got that thing figured out, doesn't he?
He was he was the man to beat. I mean, most nights he was. So but he's got that new car this year, so we'll see.
Yeah, but he's keeping
the old one. Yep.
Yeah. In fact, he'll probably start the season with that
with that old one. Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you come up with your number?
It was actually my high school number.
Okay.
Backwards. So I was a lineman in high school.
So you were number 9.
I was number 6.
Okay.
So
Backwards.
or 60. Yeah, 60.
Okay.
So yeah, I was 60 in high school, and then always was a fan of Mark Martin's, and liked his driving style, and so I thought, we'll flip it around, and that's what we'll use. So Mo 6.
So what do you want to do this year? You want to win a few more races? So
Right.
you want to win the championship then? Or do you race for that?
I don't race for it. I go out and try to run consistent every week. I'm disappointed because I feel like I have a top 4 car, top 5 car every week, and if we're not there, then I feel like I've let down the people that help me and myself. So, not that I think I'm a great driver or anything, but I think we have the equipment that we should be there. So, I would like to have a few more wins this year, or at least be fighting for the lead more than we were this last year. So
got Beatrice coming up here in another month or so. Are you gonna venture up that way?
Yeah, I think we're kicking that idea around, and that's kind of what we're thinking. Have Beatrice be our first show this year.
Is that a 2-day show or a 1-day show? What is it now?
2 days.
It's 2, and last year it snowed on the second day. It snowed out. So.
See, I'm afraid to go to that because every time I've gone, it's snowed.
Then Hayes is going to be right after that.
The following weekend, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to head out to Hayes, that's for sure. Is that a 2-day show too?
Started early.
Yeah.
Yep.
And since we're talking about that, I've made the connection last night and made the preliminary stuff to take us back onto the radio, April 7th, and we'll run through October 20th. And that should get us deep into the end of the season here, and see if we can cover everything beyond Tuesday night. And looking at the Royals schedule, we're only going to lose about 4 shows.
Okay,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, so pretty tickled about that. See how it works. And made the phone calls and stuff. And
going to be back at Chuck's again.
Going to be back at Chuck's.
Of course, I work right down there. I drive by there every day.
Have they started on it?
They got foundation poured and got framework going up. So I'm excited. Yeah.
Hopefully they'll have a fryer come.
That's what you need to stay away from, Bill.
You know what? And I have. I really have. I've never mind.
Hey, you know what?
We didn't talk about that, but I've done real well with that.
You know what we did?
What?
We forgot when we started the show. We forgot to talk about Mike.
Yep. I was going to mention that at the end, but we'll throw it in there now. That's fine. All right. Big thanks to Mike Hill and Hill Job Graphics providing us with the banner for the season, and maybe we'll get another one made when we go back to Chuck's. And he also has some beverages and stuff for us. So anybody that comes to the show, if they want a beer later on after the evening, be glad to have one before we head home tonight. Of course, I only have to go through that door.
A little cold to be drinking a beer tonight, or any
really?
beverage
Are you
that's
whining
cold.
I got home late tonight. I didn't get a chance to get a fire started, so it's a bit chilly in here. But it could be worse. And look,
and David's over here in shorts.
Yeah, Dave's wearing, but he does have his arms crossed now. If it's single digits, then you put pants on.
I think it's close.
And we are
here.
Yeah, in here.
And I hate to sound like I'm begging, but we really need a couple sponsors on this thing to keep it going. We got poor Dave coming down here. He's bought all this equipment and stuff. So one of these days you're going to be getting a phone call somebody, and sure would like to have some advertisers. But a big thanks to Michael Hill, Hill Job Graphics. He'll do you a T-shirt, whatever you want. Give him a call. He'll hook you up and take good care of you. This banner's pretty awesome. Does have some Derby cars on it. I think there's something missing on it though. I don't know what might be missing on the banner. We'll have to look at it a little later. You can tell me if there's something missing. There's
Okay.
a sport mod on it. There's a late model, a couple of derby cars. There's a sport compact. There's a mod light. What's not on there?
No modifies on there?
I don't know. You have to go look.
Okay.
I don't know.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Anyway.
There's no hobbies.
Now that you can hang banners on the back of your cars.
While you race?
Huh?
Why-
Not while you race. Goofball.
Well, you didn't clarify.
You can hang. Well, you knew better. Everybody else knew better, I think. No, you can hang banners on the back of your cars, showing off all your sponsors. So, Mike would be a great
Mike
guy
could
to
do.
get you fixed up with one.
Yeah, he did a good job with this one, and I could see
Yep.
where one would fit on the back of one of those pretty quickly and easily. Advertise while you're at the races. You have to take it off when you get on the track, okay?
You don't
All right.
have to.
Well, you probably ought to.
Would that be a stop and go?
Yeah. it'd be a call to the NASCAR hauler.
Speaking of sponsors, what kind of sponsors you got on your old hot rod?
What do I have? I don't have a lot right now. I have Lightner Trucking. I have Spring Creek Farms, and Dustin Hill. The other a couple weeks ago, I talked to him, and we're going to have his insulation business
Okay.
on there. And so excited for that this year.
Mhm.
So.
And what color is the car going to be this year? Seems like you change every year.
Yeah, I know.
Or you want to surprise us?
You want a surprise?
I never can. It takes me about a month before
To figure out who's
before I
who?
ever find you.
No, I'm going to go with a Gulf Blue.
Gulf blue.
Gulf Blue.
Which is
Yeah, well,
like
tell me what
dark
that
blue.
is.
No,
Light blue.
You guys are older. You should know the Gulf colors, like the Daytona Gulf cars and
Yeah, like
the
that trash can over there.
yeah, a little lighter.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, you had.
Well, that looks gray to me, but I'm colorblind, so.
Yeah.
You had a lighter blue car one year, didn't you? Light blue
I had a
car.
gray car one year.
That's the year
So-
I couldn't find you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I rolled that car, so I don't want that car again. So yeah, we're gonna go Gulf Blue and have a orange cage and it'll have an orange stripe on it.
Cool.
So.
New car for this year?
Yeah.
One of them is.
Yeah.
new.
One of them.
Are you
The other
building it
one's a
yourself?
backup?
No, this is a Big Johnson car.
Really?
Oh, is that what Tommy Foes has?
Yeah, that's what Fos has.
Trying to beat him, huh?
Yeah, we're gonna. I just want to, I've never driven anybody else's cars before, so see what some of these guys are doing and what they're running, and see if we can't figure some stuff out.
Cool.
How far
So-
along are you?
Putting it all together now. Everything's there, and it's just waiting on Bobby for tools.
You was talking about rolling your car one
Yeah.
time. How many times you been on your lid?
3 different times.
Really?
Yeah.
Been 3 times?
Yeah, twice in 1 year. 2 of the races we finished. So
Really?
yeah, we put tires on it and went.
Really?
So yeah,
I think
and
one was up by turn 4, wasn't it?
4 at Salina
Yeah.
and 4 coming out of 4 at Minneapolis once, and then in 2 at Salina.
Four at Minneapolis was a rough one because it would actually pull you towards the wall at some point in times, and I remember that one. That
Yeah.
was a tough one.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not something that you want to do on a weekly basis. That's for sure, because it does get to tearing up some stuff. But the cars we've built have always held up well, and walk away, drive away. If you can do that.
Something you don't see a lot anymore is axles breaking. Years ago when the hobby stocks first came out,
Boy, those
I mean,
axles
the right
were breaking,
rear.
the right rear,
Yeah,
and
right
then they
rear
roll
axle.
right over on
Right.
the
they'd
top.
flip over in a second. Yeah, and the guys are getting to where they're buying
The
good
aftermarket,
axles,
yeah,
which
good,
is-
and there's some
which is
really
a
good axles
investment.
out there.
I
yeah.
think there was a time when the guys were trying to modify that axle for a bearing or something to fit, and they would cut it too far
too far and get weak.
and get it weak, and I think that rule has changed a little bit to let them use a different axle. So
Yep. Well, speaking of rules, they've done any new
They didn't do
changes?
The only thing they did for us this year was they allowed us to put a 3-inch bubble in our hood for our air cleaners.
Oh, really?
That's it. So other than that, and remove the rear wheel wells
I see.
if you got an aftermarket floor pan in.
I see.
Other than that, there's no rule changes. But the cars will be faster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
be faster.
You like the idea of taking the rear wheel fender wells out?
Yeah, we'd already, because we started running the aftermarket floor pans a couple of years ago, and from a builder's perspective, it just makes it a lot easier to put them back together when you're not trying to mix and match. So, I'm okay with that.
Are the body style that you run, are they getting hard to find?
They are. They're getting pricier.
What are they, Monte Carlos, Cutlasses?
Yeah, the G-body cars, Monte Carlo, Cutlass, Regals. And I keep thinking that they're going to open it up like they did for the stock cars and let us run the later model bodies. They're going to have to, I think, eventually. Because they're, like you said, they're getting harder to come by, and so.
So what front stub is on your race car? Is that a metric?
They're all metrics. Yeah. So, and I think that's going to be something that they're going to.
We were. I know Dave Brin mentioned to me once upon a time where we got talking about modifieds. Using the Chevelle
right
frames and how scarce they're getting to be, and what are they going to do next? Are they going to start letting the guys, fabricate their own front ends and run tubular stuff?
Well, isn't some of that stuff, don't they have something coming in from overseas that you weld it together, the front stub? I mean, and I've heard that's kind of tricky too, because you put it together wrong, and then you get to the track and they're like,
and you don't
oops, and then you go,
or you put it together the way you want it.
And then you go to the track and they're like, no,
that's not going to work.
Yeah, and then you call the guy up and they say, okay, we'll send you this kit where you can fix it.
Yeah, we know what you need here.
Yeah,
cut this and grind it.
Yeah,
and can you hear all those grinders running while you're at the racetrack? Everybody trying to fix their race cars.
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
As they start to run out.
Yeah, they as far as the modifieds go, with quick changes came in this year.
Did you get one? You're not going to get one, are you?
No.
Well, that's because your driver never changes gears.
I know.
That's because he doesn't travel.
We don't ever go.
He runs one gear all season. So
I was gonna say you have to travel to change gears.
Yeah, that car probably never gets on the scales either, does it?
Oh, it depends. Yeah,
where it's been, if it's been in
the
outside wall or
But no, we had a good summer last summer. It didn't get put on the scales too much. I was afraid to know what it was. Didn't want to change it. I was afraid I would change it.
Dial yourself right out of the ball game.
Overthink it.
But no, the quick change thing. I'm hoping that we'll maybe see some of the NCRA guys maybe that can't go with the motor thing anymore. Maybe to drop down and a little bit and come race with us.
Because everything else now is the same. You can run.
The tire difference, right?
Tires.
Still.
Tires.
Yeah.
But
tires and
tire.
a motor.
The engine's a big thing.
Yep. So hopefully we'll maybe get
that'd be
some
good
of
to
them guys.
just get a few more cars out there.
So goals for this season as you start off?
Goals for the season. More wins. I'd like to double them, which I don't think that's too far out there. And week in, week out, top 5.
Okay, you start deep in the field usually because you're up in points,
yes.
and the IMCA runs an inverted points thing, and yada 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 yada.
Right.
So you're coming around to get the green flag. You're strapped in. You're ready to go. What are you thinking? You're looking at the guys around you. What are you thinking? You're trying to find an escape route. You're trying to figure out which way you're going to go. What are you doing as you're coming to get the green flag?
It depends on who's around you. It honestly does. I think. You know the guys well enough, and you've raced with most of them long enough that you know who's going to go and who's going to be the more aggressive and who's going to put things in a place that they shouldn't. And so sometimes it's like, for me, it's be patient, wait. Other times it's you got to go. So because
you can't win it on the first lap.
No, but there are guys that get out there on the first lap, and
you got to get with them.
You got to get with them, or you don't run with them the rest of the night. So. It's a catch-22 for sure, but again, like I said, I pay for all my own stuff and fix all my own stuff, and so.
Have you got a favorite track you like over others?
but from this summer, we ran. We went up to Eagle, and that was. I mean, we finished, I think, 10th, 10, 11, or 11, 12, something like that. But facility-wise, it was really clean, really nice place. Show ran off fast. I think we were done by 10 o'clock, and they had full field like we run, plus sprint cars.
Really?
And it was over by 10 o'clock at the latest. And they had 30-plus cars in every class. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun up at Eagle. So
I've never got to go there. We turned left instead of right. We went to I-80.
I-80.
Yep.
Well, we did that too because our GPS told us to go that way, which was the wrong way. So, but yeah, we're probably going to go up there this summer again.
Oh yeah.
So, to maybe catch a ride.
I might have to do that.
So it was fun.
Yep. Might have to do that.
And
didn't he drive to the banquet one time?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
And that car sitting right.
It's right out there.
Is it still out there?
Yeah.
Now the banquet I'm talking about is the IMCA National Banquet, and I believe it was in Lincoln at the time.
Des Moines.
It was in Des Moines.
Des Moines. We went through Lincoln, I think, didn't we? Yeah, we did.
We probably stopped there.
We did.
I think we stopped in every town.
That's right.
Who was curled up in the back? It's a Mazda. Is that what it is?
Yeah, little two-door MX-6.
Bobby curled up in the back seat.
Bobby in the back seat and one other guy that was
Matt.
over 6 foot.
Matt.
Yeah.
Was Matt with you?
No.
No.
It was another Matt. Yeah.
Kelly.
Kelly was with us. Kelly Younger and a buddy of mine, Matt Burns.
Matt Burns.
Yeah, Matt Burns. And the two tallest guys
And he
were in the
was
back.
Yeah, there was no way he was going to fit in the back, but no, it was Kelly and I. But yeah,
that was a good time.
we had some refreshments along the way that helped.
Not the driver. I was a driver.
Yeah, no, you didn't.
No.
I definitely needed it for sure.
That was quite the trip.
Yep. We go. I think we stopped in Minneapolis, Belleville, York.
And I think I know why. Did you have to uncross your legs and get out?
Yeah, I had to unkink my neck because it was rubbing on the ceiling.
But you know what? We made it there safe.
We did.
We did.
And I didn't have to ride in that thing coming
You
home
didn't.
either.
Who'd you go back with?
Brian.
Okay.
He met us
that's
there,
right.
remember?
You met him up there.
Yeah.
We shoved you in the back seat of a Camaro one time on the way to Belleville, but it was only up to Belleville.
Yeah.
But we still got a ticket.
Yeah. Got a ticket. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, listen. Good luck with your season this year.
Thank you.
I hope you do well. Thanks for coming out here tonight.
Yeah, no. It's always good to come out and talk to you guys. Again, heat would be better, but
Oh my God!
my nose has started to run, Bill.
It's over 40 degrees in here. It's 45.
I work inside. I'm soft.
You're a wimp.
I may be.
I was going to call my neighbor and have him start a fire for us, but I didn't leave Manhattan until 5:15. I was hustling to get here. In fact, I just got here when he got here, so I apologize for the lack of comfort tonight.
David's legs are turning blue. Look at him.
He's in shorts. He doesn't care. So what all races you going to hit this year? Where all you going to go?
So we'll probably be Salina every week. We're going to try to run Hayes some. I took last year off from Hayes. We're going to do Beatrice some. I would like to go back to Iowa again.
You going to do that?
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Those guys they're great competitors. Probably some of the hardest racers around. And
have you ever raced at the Super Nationals in Boone?
Yeah, my first year we went up there.
Going to do it again?
I don't think so, just because it's the wrong time of the year with school.
School's starting, isn't it?
Yeah. So we're back in school, and it'd be hard to justify to my principal taking a week off of school at the start of the year. So.
Oh, come on, principal. Let him go race, for Pete's sake.
She's a great principal, but I don't know.
You talked about going out to Hayes. There's some tough competition at Hayes.
I think this last year they had almost 30 plus cars every week out there.
Yep.
And there were good cars that loaded up before the A feature.
And this, this doesn't apply. I mean, what amazes me about Hayes is we're just 100 miles west of Salina, and there's some pretty good stock cars out there.
There is.
Yeah.
That don't come here.
Yep.
And this year they're going to sanction the stock cars.
It's going to be IMCA sanctioned.
So I hope that those guys come, but
me too.
It'd be interesting to see them get here.
Yep.
I know that doesn't apply to your class.
No,
but still, the competition out at Hayes is amazing, and it's like it comes from further west to Hayes.
Well, you have Waukene and Goodland and Colby. All those tracks are out there.
IMCA
they're all
sanctioned
IMCA sanctioned tracks too. So I think you have more opportunities for people to race. So therefore, you have more cars being built in that area. That would be my educated guess. I can say that I'm educated, somewhat.
Well, something I did want to get out. Austin Carter's girlfriend was in a wreck a couple weeks ago in that fog.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
And kind of broke her back, and she was in a Montine Barth, Marty's daughter.
Marty's, yeah.
And she's in a back brace and stuff, and we want to wish them speedy recovery.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's got to not be so much fun. And one of the employees at BMS, a fabricator up there's child was killed in a fire.
House fire. I heard about
the
that.
other morning, and that's terrible.
Terrible.
I hate to hear that. Chris White, and we hate to hear that. That's terrible when it happens to kids.
Yep.
We wish condolences to the family there, and that's a tough one.
Yep.
Any final thoughts, Bobby, as we wrap this thing up?
No. Just waiting for the weather to warm up so we can go racing.
Okay, so maybe we get a little warmer in here. We got a few more shows
in
before
here.
April.
Yes.
So we'll get it a little warmer in here. It's gonna be cold tomorrow.
They say 20s and snow again this weekend.
I know.
Yeah,
I
it should come out when it's that cold. It's a treat out here.
If I would have known that it wasn't going to be heated this time, I would have still come, but I might have brought a heater. Yeah, I know. Right, at least for our feet.
Oh my God, you guys are pansies. There's another name I was going to use, but for Pete's sakes, I got a coat on. It's not that bad. And I will tell you, with the weight that I've lost, I get colder faster. It's unbelievable.
Well, look at us. We're skinnier guys.
So what? You should be used to it. You've never changed. I see you at the gym.
Hey, this thing's winding down. I know you don't work on a car by yourself.
I don't. My dad puts in quite a bit of time. Clark Rowell, guy that has helped me since I started.
Been with you a long time.
Yeah, and fabricates some stuff for us, and a great welder. And when I don't have an answer, he usually comes up with it. So, and it helps me not only with racing but in life. Just keep you on an even keel.
There you go.
It's good to have people like
that. We all need people
yeah.
like that, don't we?
So, yeah, good people.
What about your brother Ricky? Is he going to race?
I think he is. I saw his car the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, I don't think it has a motor in it right now, but I think
is he going to have to change some things because of the IMCA thing?
His car is set up to run IMCA
so
as it already
legal?
was. So
okay.
Yeah. So I hope I enjoy watching him race because he's like the more aggressive side of the two of us.
Yeah. I was going to say you guys are just the opposite.
Yeah, he'll throw a car. He'll throw a car in there and put it in places that I wouldn't, and it makes it fun to watch him. So.
Yep.
For a guy that predominantly likes drag racing, he does okay as a stock car racer, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He does well with it, and he's smart enough to figure out what works and doesn't work most of the time. So.
And he did race in the hobby stock division for a few years, did he not?
Yep. Did
you guys beat and bang?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, you did.
It's tough. It's tough to race family though because.
See, that's what I want to do. I want to get one of these. I want to race Ryan. Wouldn't that be a blast? Oh yeah, I do.
Can you imagine what it would be like off the track if you guys got into each other?
The crew's already told us if we beat each other up, we're fixing it ourselves. They ain't working on it.
Are you guys going to beat each other up as well?
Nah.
Okay. Yeah, keep it clean. Right?
Oh yeah. No, it wouldn't be that way. But wouldn't it be fun? Come on. Wouldn't it be fun to race your son?
No, he would kick my butt.
Let me tell you a quick story. Let me tell you guys a quick story. And I don't do enough with my daughter. I'm running down to Wichita, take her out to dinner one night this week. But one year I took the kids over to Sadler's indoor kart racing over in Kansas City. Okay? And I'm racing Ryan, and I'm battling him. And I've got 50 pounds on him back then. Now I weigh less than he does. And we're battling in this, and it's a road course, and I hate road courses. Give me an oval, and I'd have had more fun. And out of the blue comes this little redhead daughter of mine.
She blew by you.
Oh, she blew by both of us. And she's in this racing go-kart, leaned all back and stuff and hammering down on the throttle. And as she passes me back, she uses one hand on the steering wheel and the other one is down here by the steering shaft, and she just waves at me as she goes by. And I was like, really? How'd you do that? I'd love to put her in a race car, see what she'd do. And, she's been into soccer and other sports like that. So
I do need to say thank you to Tommy for helping me out and stuff this year, because he's helped me out quite a bit last year and stuff. And so if my car is fast, I'll say thank you to Tommy. But when it's slow, remember, it's not me, it's Tommy still.
And you're talking about Foes,
yeah,
right?
I'm talking about Tommy Foes, and it's either, not the other one. It might be slow because of him. It just depends on the track. So.
Just had to clarify that.
Yeah. But, yeah, if it's slow, it's either because he set it up wrong or because he's driven into me. So.
And he said he's going to.
Oh, I know he's going to.
He is not afraid to rub anybody up.
Yeah. He'll definitely rub. But
Bob's going to have a message here in a minute. It's going to take him a second.
Basketball report. Cougars are up 27-11 at half.
Over campus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and the Hawks lost last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that.
What happened?
That was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Are you a K-State fan?
I am.
There you go, and you're a Hawk fan.
No, I'm not.
You're not?
The rest of my family is.
Oh, you're not a Hawk fan?
Uh-uh.
Your driver is. You have to have one of them damn things on your race car.
Yeah, I know that. I fixed that one time, though.
Did you really?
Did you paint it purple?
No, remember Carol Roker?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when she took pictures?
Yeah.
She made me some.
With a cat on it?
Yeah, she took that Jayhawk off, put a power cat on
I didn't know
there.
that.
Yeah. She photoshopped it on there.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
they
cool.
didn't like it. No, yeah, they're big Jayhawk fans out there. Yeah.
All of them are.
Yeah. They was going home, get ready for the big game, and I told them, yeah, K-State, they're on. They've been playing so bad, I thought it'd be a blowout. And, yeah.
Well, the last one
they're
was.
probably pouting today.
Probably pounding today.
Rough day for them. That's okay. Anyways.
Thanks for coming over.
No,
Appreciate
thanks
it.
for having me.
Okay.
I enjoy it.
I'll catch you at the gym one of these mornings. Get there at 5:30.
There you go.
So thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. Bobby, good job again. April 7th when we start on the radio.
Yep.
Big thanks to Dave. Dave for producing this thing for us. Brought the camera tonight. Didn't forget it. So we were up and ready to go tonight right away. Dave produces this thing. And it was an idea between the three of us to put this together. And I think it's worked out really well. But definitely need to sell some advertising for it to keep it going. But again, thanks everybody for putting in your time tonight. It's been a fantastic show. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
We'll watch you. We'll get you on the radio show too a little later on in the season. See how things go for you. See if you're on track with those wins.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope to be.
Go get you a couple A features this year.
Needed.
We'll bring you and your sidekick on together.
Yeah. Would that be fun? Can we put those two on the radio? the internet, I'm okay with foes on, okay? But the radio, we've got rules and regulations to abide by. I don't have a button.
I don't beep button.
I don't have a button.
Did he have a problem? He didn't have a problem with language, did he?
No.
No? I think
he didn't.
He's pretty clean.
He can be an adult.
Oh, yeah.
So.
I think he did adult rather well, really. I think he was too cold to do much else.
That could be, too.
He was sitting there shivering.
He will probably have to keep his shirt on, though.
Yeah.
What's on the radio? Who cares?
Yeah. But, yeah.
The girls might like it. Anybody there? All right, that's going to do it for this week. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks so much for joining us here on Shop Talk, In the Zone's Race Talk Live Shop Talk, produced by David Chiveria. Appreciate it very much. Again, you've been a great guest, Bobby. You've done a great job tonight. We'll be back in a couple of weeks right here, 7 o'clock.